Hey, it's Xennial Gamer, and we are here to do a Siege video today. So as you can see, we're in G2 Siege right now. It's still very early in the Siege, and it's still pretty close. And we're going to start off with this targeted base number 11 here to try and gain access to our two bases again. So we're going to start off with the Xingxi, Harmonia, and Chow. And we're going to use our Amelia, Bastet, and Odin comp. And what this is going to do is my Odin should be able to take out Chow, which is the main damage threat on this team right off the bat. My Amelia is going to cleanse the defense breaks that are going to be coming from Xingxi. And obviously Bastet is giving me a defense break, attack boost, and attack power buff. So let's see how this goes. Now we take first turn as expected. This is actually probably one of my 2 or 3 most effective teams. It is very reliable because you've got Amelia stacking Odin continuously. You've got the immediate 1-out nuke right there. So Chow is, wow. That is a strong Chow. Okay, that was not what we were expecting here. But I think we're still probably okay. We've got the Chow now, and Odin can always resurrect. Um, Caught me a little off guard on that one, but I think we're okay. So we've got Odin stacked back up, and we're actually going to hold the defense buff right now, and we're just going to chip away at Xingxi a little bit. And we're going to bring him down. Because Harmonia's already used her unwanted harmony, that's going to give me a chance to kind of restack Odin up a little bit and try and get that Xingxi out before Harmonia gets back to her unwanted harmony, which I think she just did. But Odin is stacked now, so even if she manages to do it... Okay, so she still had one more turn anyway. We were good, and now we can just auto. So we finished the auto. There you have it. Victory. Okay, so next we're going to work on this Luis, Orion, and Kumar, and I'm going to bring in a Skogul, Fran, and Theomars. And I'm using the Skogul defense lead instead of the Fran speed lead because of the Kumar AoE attack. Now this particular Skogul I'm using is a Shield Will Skogul. Both Fran and Theo have Will as well, so that gives me some protection against the Orion. You can see we got full resistance here. And the Luis immunity is going to slow my Theomars down for a little bit, but we've got the Skogul damage coming up, so we don't really want to use the Theo Triple Crush until the Skogul rock is coming down anyway, because we want to make sure that we get a kill with it. Fran is obviously there just to give Theo immunity and for some healing, and to get defense broken because she procced. Okay, Orion, he started to derp and he changed his mind. Okay, so now we can get this Orion out of here with the Skogul Rock. Let's slow him down a little bit. Judging by the attack bars, I think the Skogul Rock is going to come down before Orion goes, so we will use our immunity and attack buff. And I stand corrected, but it didn't matter. And now from here, it's pretty much easy. With no defense break, we can really just wait until the Skogul Rock comes back down. I'll work on this Kumar again. And so that was a relatively clean and fear-free victory. We'll triple crush out the Kumar, and then I can go on to auto. Oh, well, he doesn't want to go down without a fight, I can see. Okay, that should take care of Kumar, and now we can go on to auto. And there you have it. Victory number 2. Okay, so Speed successfully got the last attack on base 11, and we are moving on now to base 12. So we're going to work on this Aegir Triana Commune, and I am going to use a Commune Triana Cameron in order to counter this. So the idea behind this team, Cameron is going to reset the skills. Commune is going to be able to chip away at both the Triana and the Aegir, the Triana and the Skogul, because he's on a crit damage build. And then Triana is going to protect me in case the Skogul gets a rock off. Now Cameron actually hits really hard in addition to doing her skill reset thing, and she's got an AoE skill reset. So she can ideally reset the Triana and then just kill the Aegir right off the bat. So we get into the fight, and one of the first things you'll see is that there's no will runes up. That's one of the interesting things about these Ajir Triana defenses is they very rarely do have will runes. So we're going to start off. We'll just poke the Triana a little bit. My Kamoon is on Destroy as well. Unfortunately, the speed tuning wasn't perfect for me here. My Cameron is pretty slow, and Kamoon and Triana are much faster. But that's okay. We've got some time. I've got heals. I've got the Triana Death Protection. So the Kamoon is going to go, excuse me, the Ajir is going to go after my Kamoon. And the Triana will be chipping away at my Cameron, but she's going to have Skogul, she's going to have Kamoon's shield for a little while. So for right now, we're just going to use a skill 1 attack. So there's the first hit, there's the rock. And we're going to actually use Kamoon's skill 2 now to heal up a little bit. And that way we can hold on to, can we hold on? Yeah, we can hold on to Triana's heal. No, actually, I think we want to clear that brand off for right now. So we'll go ahead and use the Triana heal to clear the brand. He'll confiscate the shield, but not too much attack bar, fortunately. And we don't want to hit that Skogul yet, so I'm not going to use the AoE. But what I think I will do I want to give a... Yeah, I'm going to do a full skill reset on Triana right now. It's also going to chip away at her damage quite a bit. We might even be able to kill Triana first instead of going for the Ajir. Okay, now we need this AoE skill reset here. Let's kill that Triana. Let's definitely get healed up. And we should be okay, unless this Skogul does like some obscene proccing now, we should be pretty good. We can slow the Ajir down with, there's that obscene proccing, but we can slow the Ajir down with Triana's skill 1 attack bar decrease. There's that death protection, fortunately. Okay, we got the sleep, that was nice. And now I can go ahead and reset the Skogul, a little protection against that rock going crazy on me. There's a little bit more proccing, but we're gaining control back now. That was a little bit close. It was a big Skogul rock. I didn't pay attention to how much damage he has, or how much damage it did, but he obviously has more HP than probably the normal Skogul. But at this point now, we do have pretty good control over this fight. The Skogul's going down in another hit or two, and that Ajir is not going to solo my Triana. We'll heal up a little bit more just to be cautious. And Skogul's gone. And we could pretty much auto from here, but just because Ajir can do Ajir things, I'm not going to auto, and I'm going to play this one out. Now I've got a full skill reset on him, and I can go ahead and play it out. Auto it out. And there you have it, victory. It was a little closer than I might have liked. On the other hand, if that Skogul had an extra 1,000 or 2 HP, Cameron might not have actually taken any damage and might not have gotten so low because the Triana Death Protection might have kicked in earlier. But I use that team, and it's pretty consistent. I use that team almost every Guild War against the Ajir Skogul Triana comp, and it's pretty consistent as a winner. On to the next. Okay, so we're going to try and finish out base 12 against this Garo Miho Orion comp. And I am thinking of going with Garo, Draco, and Skogul. And my thinking here is that I should outspeed the Orion and get will up, or immunity up, excuse me, because I've got the speed lead. I'm going to use the Skogul to kill the Miho. And it's actually going to be the Garo and the Skogul working together. So Garo can stun the Miho, which prevents any counters while I'm waiting for that Skogul rock to come down. And then once the Miho is gone, I'll be able to use my Garo against his. Mine is going to be getting buffed by Draco, and his is not. And hopefully we can take that Orion out with the Skogul rock at the same time. So I've never seen this particular comp here before, and I feel like it's a little bit of a risk, but we're going to go for it and see what happens. Okay, so we did get our first turn, which is important for us. And we're going to go ahead and stun the Miho. I'm not too worried about his Garo because it's going to attack my Skogul, which will actually just turn cycle me. So we will stun this Miho, and that's going to leave it ready and vulnerable to the Skogul rock when it comes down. And I think, do I want to go for a defense break here? I do not, because I don't want to risk that Miho countering me. So I'm just going to bop this Orion a little bit and see if maybe I can get back to my, hey, there we go, couple of procs. And we're going to bop the Orion one more time. It's attribute disadvantage, so I can't hate if I don't get good damage, but if I do manage a crit here, then the Orion will die to the first rock. Okay, glancing hit, but that's fair. Can't complain about that. So we're going to put our immunity back up thanks to the nice procs that we got with our Draco, and the rock will come down and drop the Miho. I can drop this Garo now with my skill 2 double hit because it was so low on HP, and we've pretty much got this one in the bag now. And there we go. On to the next. Okay, we are back with our next battle. You can see the scores across the top there. Unfortunately, this siege is not going great for us. But we are going to work on red 4 here. We're going to look at this Ciara, Lauren, and Rauk. And we're going to use our Ajir, Joltan, and I think we're going to use our own Ciara here as well. So the idea of this comp is that the Lauren is going to go first on their side, obviously, and attack my Joltan. And he's got will and shield, but if she manages to strip him, then the Rauk is going to chase him, which is why I'm using the Ajir lead, because I want the extra HP on my Joltan. If she doesn't defense break him, then the Rauk is going to go after my Ciara, who's also in will runes, and she is tanky enough that she should be able to survive the team up unless he just goes absolutely haywire with the skill 1 scratch. So barring like 5 hits from the Rauk, I should be able to get turn 2. And once I do, I can use my Ciara to bomb their Ciara. I can use my Ajir to control the Rauk. And then the Lauren will just basically suicide herself on Joltan. So here we go. Okay, so we see it went exactly as expected, except the Rauk was actually slow. And that makes it tempting for me to bomb the Rauk, because now if my Ciara goes before the Rauk, or rather if the Rauk goes before my Ajir after my Ciara is gone, I no longer have immunity. So I think I'm going to change my plan and bomb the Rauk here and go for the stun, and then I'm going to use Joltan to stun the Ciara on the other side. So we got the stun, which is good. It's probably a violent Rauk, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it off. I'm still going to use my Joltan to stun the Ciara on the other side. And as long as we don't miss, yeah, we're good. So now we've got this. We'll just work on the Ciara while the Lauren suicides herself pretty much on Joltan. And we can auto out from here. All right, another victory, and on to the next. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a little bit of work to do to make a comeback in this siege, but we're going to move on and start a new base. And so we're looking at this Fen Yang, Amarna, and I'm drawing a blank on the fire Ifrit, Tessarian. And so I think this is actually a great time to pull out our Queb, however you pronounce his name, with Belager and Katarina. And so the idea here, all 3 of them are in will runes, and there's no strip on the enemy team, although Amarna does resurrect. Now that we can target with Katarina's skill 3, I really don't foresee this being a long fight. So here we go. Okay, so we take first turn. They should take the next 3 after that. They might kill my Queb, but I'm not too worried about that. So here we go. Actually, we can just target out the Amarna, and then we'll go with Belager. Obviously, this should be a very quick fight. On to the next, and hopefully we can make some progress and catch up. Okay, we're back for our next fight, and we are looking at this Molong Eladriel Perna. It's slightly bit of a winning record here, and we're going to try our Xingshi, our Perna, and our Ganymede. The thought process here is that the Molong is going to go after my Perna, so he'll take big damage, and then my Xingshi should be able to do some damage to him. My Perna will also counter his Perna and provide some healing, and the Ganymede is going to control the Eladriel at first, and then it's eventually going to control either the Perna or the Molong, whichever one's left. So here we go. Okay, kind of surprisingly, he took first turn, and since I want to actually turn cycle a bit, I'm just going to grab the Eladriel right there. So he does Reckless the Perna as expected, and my Perna will now go after his Perna. There's no point in having Perna attack Molong because of the attribute disadvantage, but we are going to get a defense. We're not going to get a defense break here, unfortunately. Um, we are going to hold on to our Ventilate, and I think we're going to add Glancing to the Molong instead, and then try to stun him. Okay, so the Glancing paid off, and I don't think we need our Flame Nova. I think we can just kill this with the Arcane Blast, save the Flame Nova for next time. And we're still going to hold on to our Ventilate because I'm waiting for my Perna to resurrect, but in the meantime I'll try and add Glancing to his Perna. Attribute disadvantage held me off there. Okay, we're going to Flame Nova the Perna. Wow, I guess I held Ventilate a little too long at this point, it seems like. But we'll go ahead and put Glancing back on the Molong. Try and stun the Molong. And now we actually do need to lock down that Eladriel before we Ventilate. Eventually we're going to get a defense break on this Molong. It will happen. I know it'll happen. It'll just happen after he gets the defense break on my Perna, apparently. Apologize for the barking in the background. I don't think I'm going to be able to edit that out, but if you've seen my other videos, you have met Brownie already. There's no point in going for the Molong yet. Let's slow down this Eladriel. We'll just let Xingshi continue to work on the Molong. I'll keep the Glancing on there. We'll reset the Eladriel one more time. That should be enough to do this, because once the Molong's down and everybody's focused on Eladriel, it'll go quicker. Yeah, let's go ahead and Ventilate Perna again. And this should get him one more hit. Okay, that should take him out, and now we can just wrap down that Eladriel. I'm actually going to go for the stun here. Stun again. Okay, now we've got him. And now I can auto. So there we go. Okay, and another victory. Hopefully it's the start of a comeback for us, and we can make a little bit of progress in this siege. And we are back trying to recapture this base number 7 here. Looking at this Luis, Rakan, and Chow comp, and I am thinking of using Bulwark, Rakan, and Skogul. Yes, I did use a couple of Skogul's earlier. They are the Siege Gods. So we've got a triple tolerant Skogul, and then we've got a violent. The violent one is really only for defense. Violent Skogul on offense to me is completely worthless because the greatest part of Skogul is this passive here, where every time he gets attacked, he turn cycles. So although we don't really need triple tolerance on this particular fight, it's the one I had left, and we'll go with him. So my Skogul, he's not crazy HP like the one that I fought earlier. But he should do enough damage to kind of chip down at them. So what's going to happen here is that Chow is going to be attacking my Rakan, but the Bulwark will be able to heal because both the enemy Rakan and the Luis are going to be buffing and stacking my Bulwark. Skogul is going to do what Skogul does, and then I'm going to use my Rakan to chip down the enemy Rakan right before the Skogul Rock lands, and once we get rid of the Rakan, there's no real danger anymore, because even if the Chow catches up to my Rakan after that, the Skogul will still kill the Chow. So here we go. Okay, I'm kind of surprised that I'm taking first turn here. I thought they'd be a little faster, so I'm going to go ahead and just steal the Will Rune from the Chow on the enemy side. And so there's the first proc from Chow. And so we're going to go ahead and hit the enemy Rakan. We want to chip him down a little bit. And now we'll go ahead and take the rest of his health away, and that should be enough that the Skogul Rock will... Oh, I forgot about the invincibility. I wasn't thinking. Okay, so let's not steal anything from him. Oh, if I lose this one, that might be my own fault. I wasn't thinking about that invincibility. Try again to steal something. We got it. Let's reduce a little attack bar over here. And go ahead and just take a hit over there. I think we're going to want to take his health again and heal up. And now we should just be able to to finish him as soon as that invincibility wears off. As a matter of fact, this time I can rock. I can use my Atlas Stone because Luis cannot put invincibility back up once I provoke. We'll go ahead and steal the shield, or not. But this should pretty much end it right there. And now we can auto out. So there we go. We got the win. I did make a mistake. I should have used Bulwark on the Luis so that she put the invincibility on herself. Just kind of a brain fart in that moment, but fortunately things worked out. And on to the next one. So apparently Windows decided to do a forced update, and it changed my default microphone, and I didn't notice and lost the audio for these last two fights. However, we're going to re-narrate. Sorry if the voiceover doesn't quite match up with my lips. I know that always drives me nuts. So for the Xingshi Wusa Chandra fight, I went with Mimir, Lauren, and my own Wusa. Basically what Wusa is doing here is protecting me from the Xingshi defense breaks and also from Chandra's AoE slow. Lauren is going to give me strip, and then Mimir gives me damage, and both Lauren and Mimir give me control. This is a comp that I use in almost every siege, and I use it often in Guild Wars as well. It's extremely effective. Lauren is obviously incredibly OP, so is Mimir, and so that's kind of enough said right there. But as you can see, I started with the Chandra, and that's because of his hug. So I don't want to take a monster down and then just have him protect it, so I take out the Chandra first. There's also really no offensive threat on the other side. Other than Xingshi's defense breaks, which are mostly covered by my Wusa, the enemy team really can't do any damage here. So I continue to work on the Chandra until he's gone, and then I go for the Xingshi because he's the next largest threat. So I can't narrate the specific order of why I used the skills because I don't remember which I used when, but as you can see, it really wasn't essential in this fight. This was a very straightforward fight where the enemy had basically no offensive threat and I had a ton of control, plus healing and immunity. So once we drop this Xingshi, we go on auto, and we move on to the next fight. Okay, now I did not fight this Fen Yang Veligul Tyrannus comp because it was a little bit too easy and I wanted to go for something more challenging. But I did take a moment to show how it would be beaten because it's actually a very weak defense. Even though it has three very powerful monsters, they don't work well together. So two of them are wind units and they're both single target, and so they're basically entirely countered by that Rena that I put on screen. And from there, all you really need to have is a fire offensive unit to kill everything, and then a wind threat. And there's a lot of different wind threats that would work here. A Skogul would work, any wind-based healer would work, even like a Chasun. Diana would work, which is what I believe I eventually put on screen. But really all you need is a wind unit that is capable of tanking the Veligul damage. And from there, you would just put in your fire threat. So as one example of a comp, you could actually do Kali, and then you could follow that with Diana and Rena, which is what I have on screen. Now the reason this works is because there's no AoE attacker and there's no AoE defense break, which means nothing will ever hit my Kali. So even though she only has 10,000 HP, she's going to be free to just fire away heavy damage the entire time, and she'll be doing more damage than the enemy side is able to out-heal. So when you're building your siege defenses, you never want to have all single unit, single target attackers that are also two of the same element because it is very easily manipulated. So I ultimately decided to go for this Leo Praha Rakan. I didn't have the greatest counters to any units in this base since it was my final attack, but because of the way the siege was going, we had to take this base, and so I decided to try and push through and make the attack. If you saw my last video, I just got Iris and I was super excited to use her, so I decided to go with Ran for a little bit of attack bar control. Omduat, because there's no immunity on the other side, and he gives me some more attack bar control, and then Iris. And my thinking here is that I've got two units that can do Despair Stuns, and both of them are AoE, which is the Iris and the Omduat. And then I've got Ran that can do pretty good damage. Ran is also on Vampire, so she's going to heal herself. Because it's an all-light dark team, it's hard to know where the enemy's going to attack. But I've got Ran with the ability to heal herself. I've got Iris with some additional healing. And then Ran also has the ability to stun in addition to her attack bar manipulation. So my thought process here is that I'm going to control the Praha with stun. I'm going to use Iris to strip the Rakan, which is why I also chose the Iris lead for accuracy instead of the Ran lead for attack. And I'm basically going to use, work to try to control both the Praha and the Rakan using my attack bar manipulation and my stuns. So we come into the fight. We know Leo's going to take first turn because of his, passive. We start off with the Omduat to get the AoE slow and some attack bar reduction, and then we use the Iris here to silence the Rakan, and we do that so that he can't use his skill 2, and so that he can't use his skill 3 on us as well. From there, we're going to further reduce the Rakan's attack bar, and this is because the Praha is already gone. And we're going to try and keep control of that Rakan. We do have to remember the Praha has a big heal, so we use Omduat to lower her attack bar, and Ran as well. So we get one Despair Stun with Iris on the Rakan, which is who we targeted. So far, Omduat has not gotten any stuns at all, which puts us a little behind. And so Praha does get her heal off and puts my Ran to sleep. And this is when things start to go a little bit bad for me. So you can see the Leo just hit the Omduat, which wasn't a big deal at all. But Iris only has had her AoE attack, so I had to wake the Praha up. And neither Iris nor Omduat got any stuns. And then Rakan just went crazy on his skill 3. Iris also missed the strip on Rakan the first time. She did get it the second. But by then, Iris was in really bad shape, and Rakan just kept collapsing. Praha now starts to get all of her Despair Stuns, while I still have only gotten the one so far this fight. And from here, Omduat's about to go down. I've lost the Iris heal. I've lost some of my additional stun. And I just don't have enough to catch back up. This next turn is kind of funny. You're going to see what happens with Rakan here. Because of the DOTs, he uses his skill 2 and wound up taking 2 turns with the DOTs and died. But by now I'm really just too far behind because of the Praha heal, and I don't have enough attack bar manipulation to control both of them. Honestly, this was probably a very bad comp. I just really wanted to force in the Iris because she was a new toy. There are much better comps I could have used against this team. RNG did go against me. The other side was getting all the stuns and I was not, but it still wasn't the best comp choice. And so unfortunately we're going to finish this siege with a loss. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and keep that last fight in mind as a reminder never to try and force in new toys just because you want to use them. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, please pop that subscribe button over on the left. It shows me that you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, it shows me that you found the information useful and hopefully it helped you in your gameplay. So here's the deal. You pop subscribe and I'll keep popping out content. Thanks guys.